Hey folks, this is Siva once again, and I want to welcome everyone back for the fifth movie review, and of course, the fifth movie in the Mission Impossible franchise. And of course, I'm going to talk and review Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, which is actually one of my favorite action films of all time. It's my favorite Tom Cruise film, it's my favorite Mission Impossible film. I still don't know why this film is not people's favorite Mission Impossible film. People more enjoy the next installment, which I'll review today. But I want to talk about this film, why it's so awesome, why it's so amazing. Like I said, Tom Cruise is a badass. He's a king. He's the best of the best. He's a living legend. He's a professional. All the stunts he did was his own. There's no CGI, no special effects, no stunt doubles. He did himself all the stunts. This is his movie, and this is how he works. Um, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. Best in the franchise, the title. I agree. This movie is best in the franchise because I do agree. This is my favorite Mission Impossible film. And buckle up on your seat because this is gonna be an hour-long review about how amazing and how awesome this movie is. By the way, I do have, this is actually the slip cover. I got it last year. I did a video for it. I ranked them, but now when I revisit the Mission Impossible movies once again, I can say that my ranking kind of changed now. Even though I said, I think that Mission Impossible 4, the previously installment predecessor of this film is actually going to be my third favorite now, not my fourth favorite film. But this is actually my favorite Mission Impossible. I say this is the best one. This is the best one, and of course I will explain why. By the way, this is the slip cover. You can see I have a slip cover. This is the back. I got it last year. I think it cost me around 13 euros, 13 bucks. It wasn't that much expensive. For those who know, 13, not 30. This is the Blu-ray. The back. And yeah, it's actually my favorite Mission Impossible film. Still the best one. I still think Rogue Nation is my favorite Tom Cruise film, my favorite Mission Impossible film, and definitely one of my personal favorite action films, even with PG-13. By the way, look at slipcase. You see how they actually made better than. But yeah. Now, the reason why I love this movie is because first off, the cast. Tom Cruise returns as Ethan Hunt. He returns. The cast, Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust was fantastic. She was great. Winger Hames is now in this movie as Luther Stickle. He's now in the movie because in previous movie he was actually only for 1 minute or 2 minutes because he had a cameo scene. In this movie, Luther Stickle is in this movie a lot because he was in all three movies and he is a lot in it. Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust. Yeah, she's great. I mean, she's fantastic. Of course, Benji Dunn, played by Simon Pegg, is also in it. Alan Hanley, played by Alec Baldwin. Alec Baldwin was played CIA Jack Ryan in The Hunt for Red October, so I'm glad that he was in the film. Jeremy Renner returns as William Brent in this film. And that's Ethan Hunt and Rebecca Ferguson as Ilsa Faust. And I can say spectacular, fantastic film. Yeah, it's a fantastic film. It's an entertaining, it's an action film. It's entertaining, kick-ass action film, in my opinion. A real badass film. It's a kick-ass action film. Even with PG-13, the stunts are very dangerous that Tom Cruise pulled out. Which, of course, I'm going to talk about his stunts soon. Now to the story. Ethan Hunt returns. Ethan Hunt, of course, returns after When Ghost Protocol ended, we saw that Ethan Hunt got a new mission. At this time, he has to hunt down the Syndicate, which is actually a world-known terrorist organization, and their leader is Solomon Lane. I think I forgot the actor. I wrote him down. I wrote the actor down, but Sean Harris plays Solomon Lane. He's ex-MI6 agent, leader of the Syndicate. Syndicate is a well-known terrorist organization. Once again, Ethan Hunt has been forced on the run because he was framed that there's no Syndicate and he's now Rogue agent. He becomes, that's the reason is the title Rogue Agent, because he's now a Rogue agent. And the IMF once again has been shut down. IMF has been shut down and has been now taken by over by CIA. And of course the CIA director Alec Baldwin, Alan Hanley, I think was he's Alan Hanley, director of CIA, has been taken down, and William Brandt is now has been forced to working with Hanley, in which Hanley is hunting down Ethan Hunt, but Ethan Hunt is every step in front of them, while Ethan's been framed and he's been captured. He's been now framed and he's been actually captured by that gas, and he's been tortured. Ilsa Faust, she's actually ex MI6 agent. She's this vote. She works for British intelligence, MI6. She's this vote, but she's a double agent, and she also works in the Syndicate organization. And she goes and she helps Ethan Hunt out. And I enjoy the tortured scene when she helps Ethan Hunt, and Ethan goes, he's like chained by this long pole. For this long pole he's been chained, and he goes and he jumps, he goes and jumps with that chains. He goes and jumps with that chains, better than Jackie Chan. I mean, Tom Cruise is actually, in my opinion, the living legend, a king. Triple H is not a king. That would be Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise is the king. He made the most dangerous stunt. He goes and uses his chains and pulls himself and jumps through the pole. So he uses his martial arts skills and escapes. And now 6 months later, he's been hunting down the woman, and that she helped him to escape. And of course, Solomon Lane, he didn't know he was hunting her and Solomon Lane. Solomon Lane, Sean Harris, who was skeptical about taking the role. He enjoyed working in this film, but he was skeptical about this film, about this role, but he chose it anyway. He chose the MI6 agent once again, leader of the Syndicate, because now Ethan Hunt, he's forced once again he has to go, and he's forced once again to clear his name. He's now working himself. He has no backup, no plan, and he has to work himself. He has no team, and he has to expose the Syndicate, because no one believes in that they exist, but that they exist. And the Syndicate is a well-known terrorist organization. They're like killing people, like causing plane crashes, and Ethan was almost close catching him, but he missed him for a mile in the PG. He was chasing him all over the world with his resources. And every week, Benji Dunn has to go on polygraph to pass the test by lying that he and Ethan are not friends. So actually they go to Vienna. Benji thinks that he won the tickets for the opera because he enjoys opera, so he goes in Vienna, but it turns out that it's actually Ethan, and and of course and Ethan needs Benji's help. And I love that Simon Pegg is back in this movie. I love that the Jeremy Renner is back in this film, because the same year he did Avengers: Age of Ultron. And this movie came out the same year as Spectre. I would rather watch this movie than Spectre ever again. Spectre fucking sucks. I rage ranted on that movie, which is the worst James Bond movie I have seen. This movie kicks ass with PG-13. This is my movie. It's my favorite movie. This is my movie. Love Mission Impossible Rogue Nation to death. I love this movie. I love this movie to death. Tom Cruise is the king of the king. It's my favorite movie in the franchise. And I'll keep repeating it because I love this movie so much, because it's so spectacular. It's so awesome. It's awesome. It's entertaining. The movie takes like breathtaking. And this is actually the real espionage film. This is a real thriller, a real espionage film, and this is how John Woo should do. John Woo should have learned from this movie. So of course now Ethan, they go to this opera. To this opera they go, and it turns out there's like there was this I think was Prime Minister. I think he was a target, and Elsa Faust. She's supposed to kill him, but Ethan Hunt saves his life. You know, he goes and fights this guy. They actually use the instruments, the music instruments as the weapons, and Tom Cruise jumps. There's a bigger guy, and Tom Cruise fights him off, the bigger guy, and he uses that sniper rifle and shoots him in the arm and saves the man's life. And Elsa misses him, and the next day, as you know, she should be killed. But Benji goes and saves her life, and they go now in the car. But when the Prime Minister is only a flesh wound, his car gets blown off, because it was actually practical effect, but he was blown off. You know, his car was blown off, and Syndicate, you know, keeps continue making terrorist acts, and Ethan Hunt must stop Solomon Lane before it's too late, before more innocent people die. And Ilsa Faust is his only lead. Ilsa Faust jumps off the car, and of course Ethan tells Benji that he needs to walk away until he's still safe. But I love Benji and said, no, you ask me, no, you ask me, you're my help. So that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get my help. I'm not going back. I'm not leaving you, and I love that. He chose his side. In the meantime, William Brandt finds out that Benji is now working with Ethan, and he asks Luther Stickle to help him out to track down Luther Stickle to help him to track down Ethan. And of course, Luther Stickle says they're not gonna catch him. No, they're not gonna catch him. They're gonna kill him. And he only does that because Ethan is his friend, and Luther Stickle decides to help. And so Luther Stickle decides to help. In the meantime, Hanley, he's actually pretty sure that Brent works with him, and so he doesn't observe him. But he's pretty sure he's pretty sure that he's actually working that he's working with him. And the next lead, Ethan and Benji now brings him. I think it brings them in Morocco, which brings them to Elsa Faust, and and of course it brings him to Elsa Faust, in which they found out there's actually I wrote down they actually go to that water plant. I don't know how is it called. think was a secure. They actually go. Benji, Elsa, and Ethan, they actually go with the plane, and not Benji, Ethan and Elsa, they jump off the plane, and they actually go to this power station, a secure server underneath. It's actually a power station under, it's water, and of course I'll show you which one I meant. It's actually this scene, that's actually the power station underneath, and they go to find this box, the red box, which is encrypted British government red box that only Prime Minister can open it. That only Prime Minister can open it. It's a red box. It's encrypted flash drive, and Elsa and Ethan Hunt, they go under the water. Actually, Ethan goes under the water to get that flash drive, and of course, he almost drowns. And Elsa goes and she saves him life. The second time she saves his life, but that time she goes and when Ethan is now saved, she goes and hits Benji in the head, steals the flash drive, grabs a motorcycle, and she escapes. And there's actually a motorcycle chases, and of course there's actually a motorcycle chases, and of course she escapes with a flash drive. She goes to MI6 director, that's Atlee, chief of the Secret Intelligence Service MI6. She gives him a flash drive, but he puts her, the asshole puts her in danger. He puts her to die. He sends her back to Solomon Lane, and she has no choice but obey, and she goes back to Solomon Lane. He goes and puts her to die. She brings in the flash drive. It turns out the flash drive is empty, but Benji did a copy. He made a copy of flash drive. But she brings a whole flash drive, and it turns out that Atlee sent her to die, and he erased that flash drive to hide his secret. Yes, it was him. It was Atlee who used Elsa Faust into that kind of secret deadly mission to keep it the syndicate quiet, because it's a twist on the end. And Solomon Lane puts Elsa Faust once again. He does not want to kill her, even though he is very disappointed that she she betrayed him once again, but he gives her another chance in order to get Hunt. So now on the train station they all met, and yeah, she gives him actually the third choice, that he walks away with her. There's always gonna be people like Solomon Lane. There's always gonna be people like them to stop them. She gives him the third choice to escape. But in order, Benji is now being kidnapped by Solomon Lane and his men, and of course, Brent and Ethan, they go run. They actually go run, but Benji is now escaped, and Elsa Faust also escapes. So now because there's a new plan, and William Brent goes and he calls, because now only Luther Stickle and Ethan and William Brent are the only trio that they stayed in his team. So William Brent calls Hanley and tells him the next clue where his action is going to be, that Ethan Hunt is going to capture Prime Minister. I actually forgot that he's going to capture Prime Minister, I think was in London, or I forgot that mention that they filmed, but yeah, that he's gonna capture him, because he doesn't want that his friends gets killed, and it looks like that Brent betrayed Hunt, but he didn't. That was actually Ethan Hunt's plan. So Hanley shows up to tell Prime Minister with Atlee. Chief Atlee shows up. With Chief Atlee, he shows up, but then when Prime Minister tells him that he tells Chief Atlee that that syndicate, that syndicate doesn't exist because it was a program, and he was against it, and he said no. And of course, Solomon Lane, not Solomon Lane, Chief Utley is actually disguised. Ethan is disguised as Chief Utley with his mask and his voice, his gadget, and he uses a tranquilizer and shoots Prime Minister. So they open that box so that they expose the syndicate, which they do. He opens the box, the red box, the flash drive, the red box, because they can't open it. So Prime Minister is the only one that can open it, with his voice and his fingerprints. He opens red box, and they expose syndicate once and for all. And Chief Utley knows everything, and he's a traitor. And Hanley, when he says hunt, I love that, Hanley finds out, that it was actually a double cross from the start to beginning, and the Ethan is not is actually on his side. So even though Hanley was against MIF, and they shut down MIF once again, he decides, he finds out that Ethan Hunt is not a bad guy, and Ethan tells him about the double cross and about the terrorist organization syndicate, which is actually the leader of them is Solomon Lane, former MI6 agent, and Chief Utley was working with them and against them, and it was double cross all over. And so Hanley stopped them. He's a good guy, and I love that respectfully Adam Alec Baldwin respectfully plays a good guy. I love the guy. Huge fan of Alec Baldwin. I'm glad that he's a good guy. He played CIA analyst Jack Ryan in The Hunt for Red October, so he played now director of CIA Alan Hanley. I'm glad that he did that, and Ethan says you stopped and say that I did, but then he finds out that Ethan's a good guy. Now Benji and Elsa are actually sitting in this for the table in front of this bar. And Benji is now wired with explosive device, and Ethan, he goes, and because there's a bunch of money in which there's like $1 billion in which the syndicate can operate for decades, and Solomon Lane wants the money. So Ethan goes, but he also says that he remembers the flash drive, that he is the flash drive. And he says, let Benji go, and at first he thinks that he's bluffing, but then he lets Benji go, he lets Benji go, and of course, so now Solomon Lane deactivates the bomb, and he sends his men to kill, capture Hunt, kill the woman, and they go, this girl, Elsa Faust goes and fires all the bad guys. Bam, 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 shoots all the bad guys. They shoots with the silencer all the bad guys. They run away. And there's a knife scene in which Elsa Faust fights this big guy, and she goes and stabs him. She climbs on his head, stabs him. But great scene. I mean, it was great choreographed, and Tom Cruise, the fight scenes was great choreographed in my opinion. So now, while Ethan Hunt is running, Solomon Lane is going after him, and he tries to capture him. He fires at the silencer, and Ethan breaks the glass, jumps in that car, in the car sales store, jumps in the floor, and Solomon Lane comes after. But he actually gets unaware. Solomon Lane gets captured by MIF agents with Elsa Faust. He gets captured. And finally they this is the first time that the terrorist is captured in MI6 in Mission Impossible films. He's captured. He uses silencer, tries to break the glass, but he can't. He's captured and put to sleep with the gas. This is the first time ever they did that in the movie. Elsa Faust is now free. She's free now. He saved her because she fatally sent her to die. I was like bitching about it. I was like, motherfucker, why did you send her to die, you bastard? I was pissed when she fatally did that. I was very pissed, I was fucking pissed he did that. But yeah, so now Elsa Faust is free. Of course, Ethan Hunt. So now Chief Hanley becomes the new director of IMF. IMF is now is not revoked anymore. It's open now. And yeah, by the board of Senate, he said Hanley that in the beginning he was against IMF, but now he isn't. And yeah, Ethan Hunt is once again now an IMF agent. He went and he exposed syndicate. He saved his he saved Elsa Faust. He's a hero. He prevented by new terrorist attacks. He saved Prime Minister. He saved everyone. So yeah. So Mission Impossible, Rogue Nation, definitely one of my favorite action movies of all time. My favorite Mission Impossible film. Of course, the movie then ends. And yeah, I love this movie to death. So now to the cast. Like I said, the plot is about Ethan Hunt becomes once again betrayed and captured, and he becomes now a Rogue One agent because that's the title, Rogue One Agent. He's Rogue One agent. And he's been hunted down by CIA. Meantime, he's hunting down the terrorist organization known as Syndicate, and he's hunting down with MI6 agent, ex-dissolved MI6 agent Elsa Faust. He's hunting down a former British MI6 agent, Solomon Lane, played by actor Sean Harris. That's the main plot, and I love the story, the main plot. I love the cast. Tom Cruise is actually once again he's the best. His best performance, the best performance. Tom Cruise is a man. He's a king. He's the best of the best of this film. William Brandt, played by Jeremy Renner, was great as William Brandt, CIA analyst, IMF agent. He was great. Rebecca Ferguson as Elsa Faust was fantastic. Any of the actors that they were previously in Mission Impossible films. To me, Elsa Faust, played by Rebecca Ferguson, was fantastic. She was great. At one point, Jessica Chastain, the bitch, was offered a role, but the bitch was a fucking lunatic. She went and she went and she said no to the role of Elsa Faust. She was the cast. She was the first cast choice as the female lead, but she declined because she's an asshole. She's a bitch. I'm glad she wasn't. I hated her in it. I hate the actress. She's nothing but a red hair bitch. Yeah. She supposed to be. She was the cast's first lead, but she said no. She didn't like the prospect of spending up to 6 months training for the role. So she said no. Tom Cruise recommended Rebecca Ferguson, and she got the role. And Rebecca Ferguson pulled off. She was great in this film. I love Rebecca Ferguson. She's great. Best performance by Tom Cruise and Rebecca Ferguson. Best performance by William Brandt, Jeremy Renner. Luther Stickle, I'm glad he's back. Love Luther Stickle, he's great. Winker Hames is back. Great performance by him. Excellent choice, excellent performance by Alec Baldwin as CAA director. Alan Hanley, best performance by him. I think I said Sean Harris did a great villain. He's the first time that he was actually captured. Yes, Mission Impossible Rogue Nation to me is the best in the franchise. I agree with this title, best in the franchise. I agree with this title. It's my favorite Mission Impossible film. Now to the facts. Then out to the facts. Tom Cruise was injured 6 times during the making of the film. So Tom Cruise was able to hold his breath underwater for 6 minutes. He was actually training, to hold the breath underwater for 4 minutes. But Tom Cruise lasted 6 minutes. So director Christopher McGuire, he did actually 6 minutes longer aspect of the film. So that was cool. That was awesome. I think director was Christopher McGuire. Tom Cruise and Christopher McGuire worked together on Jack Reacher. I remember them. They worked together on Jack Reacher. Jack Reacher 2 sucked because it wasn't Christopher McGuire, and the director of that movie was terrible. It was so terrible that Tom Cruise did not do the third movie, Jack Reacher. I don't think he has any plans to do the third Jack Reacher. But yeah, Christopher McGuire did Jack Reacher, which I enjoy. Screenplay was Christopher McGuire wrote and directed. He wrote a screenplay and he directed the film. It was actually Brad Bird declined because he was doing other films, so he declined to return for this film. So Christopher McGuire was recommended by Tom Cruise because they were together on Jack Reacher, which I enjoyed Jack Reacher. So Christopher McGuire wrote a screenplay and he directed this movie. I think he was excellent choice. He was competent. He was excellent choice to direct. I think he did a great job directing this film. I love the camera, the aspects, and Tom Cruise's performance. Tom Cruise, best outstanding performance I have ever seen. Of course. This time the music was done by Joe Kramer. He replaced the previous composer. He replaced the previous composer. I think was Michael, or I can't remember the previous composer because I forgot. But yeah, Joe Kramer replaced the previous composer that he did for Mission Impossible 3 and Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. He replaced him. Tom Cruise and J.J. Abrams and Brian Burke, they stayed producers once again. This movie is made with Paramount Pictures and Bad Robot. But yeah, of course, also this Blu-ray, which I do have, is a slipcover. It has over 45 minutes of high-octane bonus content, feature film plus special features, Night in the Fuse, Cruise Control, Heroes, Cruising Altitude, Mission Impossible, Sand Theft Auto, The Missions Continues, commentary by Tom Cruise and director Christopher McGuire. Did not listen to the track, but I enjoyed this film, love this film to death. Now I did not talk about the best stuff, but the reason why it's my favorite Mission Impossible. I actually wrote down from trivia. It took me an hour, still I wrote down. In the opening scene, you see the opening scene, Tom Cruise is running and he's jumping on an airplane, and that's actually an Airbus A400M. It's an Airbus. He jumps on an airplane and he holds himself. He was also he was 5,000 feet in the air when he also went and hold himself. That's the scene. He hold himself on the airplane on the wing. No stuntman, no CGI, no any ropes, no parachutes. He hold himself. That scene is fantastic, you know. Tom Cruise wanted to surpass his previous dangerous stunt. He was climbing down. He was actually climbing the building. Previously, he was climbing the building. Yeah, climbing the Burj Khalifa, which was actually which it was actually 800 meters, and he climbed 500 meters, and he wanted to surpass, you know, he wanted to surpass his dangerous stunt. So he held himself in the air, 5,000 feet in the air, which he surpassed his dangerous stunt. That was very dangerous stunt, and he got objections by all the crew. Even Christopher McQuarrie did not agree. He wanted to use stuntmen, but no, Tom Cruise wanted to do that stunt. He got objections, but that scene was dangerous. That was even more dangerous than climbing that building. It was dangerous. He really hung himself. And I wrote down, it was actually Tom Cruise performed the sequence where Ethan Hunt climbs on the outside of a flying airplane, an Airbus A400M, without the use of visual effects or a stunt double. At times he was suspended at the aircraft 5,000 feet in the air. So yes, that was, you see, when you see the scene when Ethan jumps, that's Tom Cruise. He jumps, held himself. That was done for real. It was done for real. It was realistic. Tom Cruise is a king. He's a man. He's best of the best, better than Jackie Chan. Jackie Chan couldn't even last that long. Not now. All the movies he does now are terrible. Tom Cruise is the best of the best. You know, that was done for real. And in the interview, it was Tom Cruise's intention to do the stunt on the Airbus A400M in a way to outdo himself after the Burj Khalifa climb stunt in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. His idea raised objections by the crew due to safety. Being a certified pilot himself, he wanted to get the feel of being out of the wing or on the side of the airplane. A major obstacle to feeling won't be bird strikes and wind resistance on the runway. So yeah, it was his intention because he wanted to surpass the climbing stunt that he did in Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. And if he wouldn't do that, the movie would be meaningless, you know. But he did that. He did that scene. That was very dangerous. To capture the action, a wind-resistant custom frame for the camera was built and mounted onto the left wing of the plane. The other major problem would be keeping crew's eyes open in the presence of fast wind and runway particles, so his eye specialist designed a special lens that can cover the entire eyeball. So 8 takes of the stunt were filmed. Christopher McQuarrie was very concerned that the actor might panic suddenly, but was assured by Cruise to not stop filming until the stunt had been finished. And during the time when he was heading himself the left wing, Tom Cruise got stuck. I think he got hit by a branch or something. He got hit by the wind in the stomach. He did not want to watch until the scene was finished. When he looked, it was just a little scratch. But yeah, Tom Cruise did perform that scene. That scene was fantastic. It was dangerous. That's one of the reasons why it's my favorite. It was dangerous stunt. I love that. Another dangerous stunt that Tom Cruise did was when Tom Cruise and Benji Dunn, they were actually driving a car. They did all the stunts, you know. Tom Cruise did drive the car, and they did all the stunts themselves. And Tom Cruise grabs the motorcycle, and the motorcycle chase, you know, because all the bad guys from Solomon Lane were driving motorcycle. Elsa Faust and Tom Cruise was driving motorcycle, and that scene was fantastic. It was dangerous, Yeah, it was really dangerous. That scene is my favorite. It's really dangerous. That scene is actually my favorite. Great, dangerous stunt with motorcycle. That was dangerous, With the motorcycle, he was like chasing. He was like chasing motorcycles. Crashed. The camera was fantastic. I mean, Christopher McQuarrie put the camera right in the edge. How while Tom Cruise was driving a motorcycle. That's how he's supposed to do. Not Mission Impossible 2. John Woo should have learned from this movie. While Elsa Faust steals the flash drive and she drives away. She goes and drives away. Tom Cruise goes after her without any helmet. That was another dangerous stunt. He had no helmet, no CGI, no special effects. He had no helmet. He was driving a motorcycle, and he was chasing Elsa Faust while the other bad guys, the other mercenaries were driving motorcycles. Like he was chasing Elsa Faust with the car, but crashed with the car. One of the bad guys tried to kill Benji and Ethan, but this guy, Luther Stickle and Brand showed up and hit the guy with their car. I just love that. I love the driving. I love the motorcycle chases. Better than Mission Impossible 2. This is better. I enjoyed the motorcycle chases. I was surpassed by motorcycle chases. I was surpassed by that, I was surpassed. I was really surprised how great this movie is. This is one of the greatest sequels of all time, in my opinion. The best Mission Impossible. Yes, people's favorite is Fallout. What has Fallout that this movie doesn't have? Dangerous stunts, dangerous driving, great action sequences, great cast, great music score. What this movie doesn't have that the next movie has, I don't get it. Because Fallout is my least favorite. This is my favorite movie. And yeah, so Elsa Faust steps off the motorcycle. She goes and steps on the road. And Tom Cruise sees her and crashes the motorcycle. That was actually the same scene that they used from Casino Royale. Casino Royale came out 2006, while Mission Impossible 3 came out that year. And I reviewed Casino Royale. And remember the scene when Daniel Craig, James Bond, grabs a car and drives a car, and he sees Vesper Lind on the road. He goes and sees Vesper Lind on the road, and he crashes the car. This is the same scene. He goes and he crashes the car. He goes, and this time Tom Cruise goes and crashes the motorcycle because Elsa Faust stops out the motorcycle and steps on the road, and he crashes the motorcycle. I was like, dangerous. I was like screaming, what happened to Tom Cruise? Did he get hurt? He was hurt 6 times during this movie. It was him crashing, not a stuntman. All stunts he did 100% on himself. Tom Cruise is a professional. He's a king of the king. He's the best of the best. He's better than fucking Jackie Chan. He's a madman. He's the best of the best. So Tom Cruise is the best of the best. Now this is another dangerous stunt scene. Another scene was under the water. This scene, the power station, that station, a secure server underneath a power station, a secure server which Tom Cruise goes without any oxygen, without any oxygen or any diver equipment except the glasses. He jumps in that secure server, and he's been like pull over. Like that is really dangerous stunt. He actually, the director Christopher McGuire, made the longer scene because Tom Cruise cold called 6 minutes without taking a breath, without any breath. He could hold 6 minutes in the water, under the water. So that scene was fantastic. Another practical effect. Another that wasn't that much use of CGI or special effect. He was great. He was fantastic. Another scene. I also love the scene when Elsa Faust walks in the cemetery to meet Solomon Lane. And now we see why this movie is espionage thriller, because Mission Impossible movies supposed to be espionage thrillers, not sci-fi action films like John Woo did. They are actually spy thrillers. They are espionage. And I love that scene in that cemetery because it's realistic. This movie feels realistic. It's breathtaking, feels realistic. Blistering action, edge of your seat suspense. I agree. And I love that scene when Elsa Faust walks to the cemetery and she's like a double agent, and that's how Mission Impossible movie is supposed to be done. That's how we do a Mission Impossible, John Woo. That's how we do. And Christopher McGuire exactly knew how to make a movie. J.J. Abrams served as a producer, which is awesome. He was a producer. He directed the 3rd movie. He was producer on Ghost Protocol. And this is the 5th movie in the franchise and the best one to me. My favorite one. This is my favorite Mission Impossible film. I love the scene. I love the scene in Vienna, Austria. I was in Vienna in the city, not there where they actually filmed in 2015, but I was actually in Vienna 10 years ago, in 2005. Now it's actually 16 years ago, but I was in the city Vienna. It's beautiful there in Austria. I was there, I'm from Slovenia, but I was in Austria. I was in Vienna. I said that in The Living Daylights. I was in Austria. In Vienna, it's a beautiful city, beautiful town. Wasn't there where they actually filmed the film, but I was there. I love the scene in the opera scene. Tom Cruise fights a bigger man. Great choreography, great fight scene. I love the scene when Elsa Faust stabs the guy, climbs on him, stabs him in the stomach or in the torso. I love that scene. Great, great knife scene. I love the knife scene. Elsa Faust and the guy in the henchman fights off. Great scene in my opinion. Yeah, I just really enjoy and love this film. The director did great, the cast did great. I enjoyed the music score. The ending I enjoyed. I love when in this bar, in front of this bar, in the table, love this scene when Elsa Faust goes and shoots the bad guys, Solomon Lane's bad guys, or Tom Cruise grabs a gun with a silencer and shoots the bad guys. I love that scene. I love the torture scene, like Tom Cruise been tortured, and she gives him a key. He can't open the key, and he goes and climbs that pole, that long pole. He goes and climbs that pole. I love that scene. It kicks everyone's ass. I enjoy that scene. But my favorite scene, I'm definitely say my favorite scene will actually be the motorcycle chase scene. I know the airplane is actually my second favorite scene, but this one my favorite scene. Absolutely my favorite scene. Tom Cruise driving a motorcycle, chasing Elsa Faust, while there's a bad guys on motorcycle chasing them. They actually crashed the car. He crashed the motorcycle. He was 6 times injured. All the stunts he did was himself. It was fantastic scene. Elsa Faust, she was dressed in a motorcycle suit. She was great. She was awesome. She was great. I love those scenes. I love those scenes. Motorcycles were BMW S1000 RS, which is awesome. They drive BMW. Another thing, John Woo used to, John Woo, he used motorcycles as a mercenaries in Hard Target and Hard Boiled, which was awesome. How could he not do that in Mission Impossible 2? They did the mercenaries on motorcycles. The mercenaries in motorcycle suits chasing Elsa Faust and chasing Ethan Hunt chasing them. I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed that scene. This movie to me is the best one. I enjoyed this film. I'm glad that Alec Baldwin is this movie. I mean, I just love everything about this film. Yeah, but Tom Cruise, that he was actually 5,000 feet in the air, which he surpassed 200 feet, actually 2,000 feet in the Ghost Protocol. That was really dangerous stunt. It was the most dangerous stunt that heading on the wind, heading in the left wing was really dangerous stunt. He goes on the airplane and he uses a parachute, and he steals that gas from the bad guys, but that was really dangerous. That is the most dangerous sequence I have ever seen. It was the most dangerous sequence I have ever seen ever in Mission Impossible film. So Paula Patton, who played Jane Carter in Ghost Protocol, and Maggie Q, who played Lai Zay in Mission Impossible 3, they actually both asked to return, but they had to both drop out due to the project due to scheduling conflicts. I think, Zan Lei, IMF agent Zan Lei. Maggie Q was asked twice to return as IMF agent Zan Lei. But Maggie Q could not return because she was in the show. She was doing Le Femme Nikita, then she did another show at the time. She couldn't. She was obligated under the contract, and she couldn't. She was under contract. She said that she would love to work with Tom Cruise. She said that it was great working with him. She would love to be in another Mission Impossible, but no, she's contracted. She can't. Paula Patton could not return. She was also busy. She was also probably under contract. She couldn't. They were both asked to return, but she couldn't. They couldn't. Jessica Chastain did not want to do because she's a bitch. Yeah, I call her a bitch because she's a shitty actress. I don't like none of her movies. All of the movies she did, they suck. Special Eat Part 2, it suck. I hate her. So filming began on August 2014 in Vienna, Austria. I was there. I visited Vienna. It's beautiful there, beautiful city, beautiful town. And concluded on March 12, 2015. It was actually the third highest grossing film starring Tom Cruise. It was released July 31, but it was 20 to 31, 2015. But 25 July, London was actually in premiere. But July 31 was all over movie theaters. So that was awesome. I wish I saw this movie in movie theater, but I saw Fallout in movie theater. I only saw 3 Tom Cruise movies in movie theater. The first one was Vanilla Sky I saw. The second one was Minority Report with my class in high school. And Mission Impossible Fallout, the 6th movie in the franchise I saw 3 years ago. I actually saw in movie theater, which I'm gonna review next. But yeah, the budget for this movie was $150 million. Once again, cost the same as the third movie. Third movie cost $150 million. This cost $150 million. Ghost Protocol cost $5 million less, $145 million. And this movie made $682 million, which actually surpassed even the first movie. It made a lot of money. It surpassed. It was the most highest grossing movie that actually Tom Cruise did. Third highest grossing in film starring Tom Cruise. So that was awesome. Tom Cruise and Simon Pegg performed all their own stunts. Simon McBurney plays Atlee, chief of the Secret Service Intelligence Service. He was great. Tom Hollander also played Prime Minister. Was awesome. The cast worked well. I love the story about the syndicate, because in Ghost Protocol we find out that Ethan goes now after the syndicate. Yeah, so that's actually is, but like I said, it's gonna be 1 hour long, because you know what, fuck, this movie deserves it. I still don't know what Fallout has that this movie doesn't. I don't get it. It has great action, great plot twist. It's espionage thriller. That's what we fans wanted. I'm a fan of Mission Impossible films. I'm a fan of this movie. I might gonna buy a poster someday and put it on my wall, because I really enjoy this film. I think that the fifth one to me is the best one. My neighbor, who was also my friend, who doesn't live anymore here, his favorite Mission Impossible was actually Mission Impossible 2 at that time. My favorite Mission Impossible is Rogue Nation. I just enjoy this film. I really get fun with this film. It's great film to watch. It's awesome. It's spectacular. Blistering action, edge of your seat, suspense. Julian Jones, radiotimes.com. I agree with him. Great cast. Rebecca Ferguson as Elsa Faust. She stole the movie with her performance. Tom Cruise was fantastic. He's a madman. He's a badass. I mean, I enjoyed this film. I watched it last night, and I know I couldn't review last night. I watched it last night. I couldn't because it was very late in that time. But man, watching this film, it's a badass. I mean, this is a badass film. It's my favorite film. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, they gave him a 5 stars. I agree. I will give 5 out of 5 stars. 10 out of 10, which I did give to this film. I did the first and the third one. I did 10 out of 10. I might actually gonna change and go and give Ghost Protocol 10 out of 10. But this is actually improvement over Ghost Protocol. I love and enjoy Ghost Protocol, but I love this movie to death. It's my favorite Tom Cruise movie. Tom Cruise movies are actually my favorite now. Mission Impossible. It used to be Top Gun was actually my favorite. Still waiting for the sequel. Not a fan of Edge Tomorrow, but I enjoy Mission Impossible films. But this is actually my favorite movie that he did. And it's like in the opera, like the henchmen, they actually use the music instruments as their sniper rifles, which is another great idea. And Christopher McGuire, in my opinion, was perfect choice for the director. He was great. And like I said, all the directors were asked to reprise, to came back as a director, but except Christopher McGuire, all of them declined, and they passed to return for the director. Brian De Palma was asked to return as a director. He declined to do the sequel. J.J. Abrams was asked to do Ghost Protocol, but he stayed as producer. And also, and of course, Brad Bird was asked to do this film, but he said no. So Tom Cruise recommended Christopher McGuire, which he chose the role. So that was awesome. He was great choice as director, and he wrote the screenplay. I mean, Christopher McGuire and Tom Cruise did pull it off. There's like audio commentary making this film with Tom Cruise and Christopher McGuire. Lighting the fuse, cruise control. I mean, that scene was very, very dangerous. Even surpassed the fourth one in my opinion. I give nothing but praise to Tom Cruise, just like I did in Ghost Protocol. That's one of the reasons I think that Ghost Protocol is now actually my third favorite. Even though I love first one because I watched it in high school, but actually I surpassed and put Ghost Protocol the third one because of that building scene. But Tom Cruise hanging himself in the open scene on the airplane, that was dangerous, that was very dangerous. Any stand-uppers, any special effects, any rows, he really hold himself 5,000 feet, which is which is actually which is actually 1,500 meters. It's kind of 1,524 meters in the air, which is very dangerous. It's suicide, but it's a dangerous. But Tom Cruise pulled it off. He got objections. They said his crew objected without stand doubles. They were actually concerned about his safety. But Tom Cruise said, "Yes, I will. I will do that. I will do that. I will hang himself in the plane." And that's what he did. You know, he's a legend. He's a living legend. He's a king of the king. Triple H is not a king. Tom Cruise is a king. Triple H wouldn't even last to hold himself in the plane like that without any parachute. And this is how we do Mission Impossible film. This is how we do a Mission Impossible film. That's how we do. That's how we do Mission Impossible film. Easily one of my favorite movies of all time, in top 50 favorite action films ever. I enjoyed this film, love this film. I recommend it. I recommend it to the fans to see it. I still don't know why Fallout is like better, because I think it's an okay film, but it's not the best film. That will be this film. Best in the franchise, I agree. I enjoyed this film. This is my movie, my favorite movie. Even in PG-13 it works. But you know what? Live Free or Die Hard is PG-13, it works. You know. So yeah, that's my movie. Glad I do have the slipcase. I do have the slipcase and the Blu-ray. And I can show you the disc. But yeah, that's my movie review on Mission Impossible Rogue Nation, the 5th movie in Mission Impossible in the franchise, the best one in my opinion, my favorite. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a couple of few hours when I rewatch and I'm gonna review Mission Impossible Fallout, the 6th movie that I saw in movie theater. Anyway, have a good Saturday and have a good day. Take care. Thanks for watching and peace. We'll see you guys.